This is Sigmund Bloom here with your Week 4 waiver wire quick hitter. Quarterback, it's going to be a pretty thin week. Maybe Trevor Lawrence is out there coming off of a big game against what looked like a tough Chargers defense until he and the Jaguars were done with them. You got Marcus Mariota here still hanging on week to week as a matchup with Cleveland this week. At least he's rushing, getting some touchdowns. Zach Wilson is back. Maybe he can unlock all of this wide receiver talent against the Steelers. Jacoby Brissett, if you need a 1 week play against the Atlanta Falcons, looking better and better in this offense, even though it is a run first offense. Matt Ryan rehabilitating himself a little bit with Michael Pittman back. If you need a 1 week play this week, he'll get Tennessee. That looks good. Geno Smith gets the good old Detroit Lions defense. So there's some 1 week plays out there for us. And in your 2 quarterback super flex leagues, Brian Hoyer should be getting some starts. Running back, we do have some big time waiver wire pickups if they're out there. Khalil, Herbert, and Jamaal Williams. I would put Williams ahead of Herbert just because he has a little more standalone value. He's in a better offense, but Herbert could take over. I don't know how long yet David Montgomery's going to be out, but it might not matter because Herbert looked better than Montgomery, just like he did last year. After that, you're looking at Alexander Mattison. If he's out there, Dalvin Cook could play through his shoulder injury, yet another shoulder injury with a harness. And Cook has been very productive and handled a heavy workload with that harness. Now, that was under Mike Zimmer. We'll see if this regime handles it a little bit differently. And injuries beget more injuries, at least of the shoulder variety for running back. So we could see Mattison break out. Lower down on the priority level, Justice Hill looked really good. Another player putting to end the idea that an Achilles tear will make a running back never be able to get back to where he was at before. J.K. Dobbins should look better in his second week back, but Hill is looking good and remaining part of this offense, which should have some success with the running game as teams are trying to take away Lamar Jackson, his incredible passing game. Craig Reynolds, Netflix is now the backup, while DeAndre Swift's going to miss a few weeks. This is a good offense. So anytime somebody has a chance to have a role in the Lions offense, we would want to add them at the end of our roster. And Trestan Ebner, being really deep, he's the backup to Khalil Herbert for as long as David Montgomery's out, and Ebner has some really good pass game skills. A lot of wide receivers to go for here. No one to break the bank. Romeo Doubs had a big role and lived up to it, especially in fantasy terms. We'll see if Christian Watson, his fellow rookie, is back, but it looks like Doubs is earning the trust of Aaron Rodgers and the coaching staff. Zay Jones in a terrific role as a short-range receiver, high percentage, leading the Jags in receptions at this point, basically a full-time player. Next tier would be Russell Gage, who there's a lot of ins and outs of whether he's going to have this kind of role going forward, but at least this week as the number 1 receiver, he produced like a number 1, at least in PPR leagues. Not a lot of yards per catch, but a lot of receptions, 12 to be exact. Mack Hollins, while defenses are focused on Davante Adams, Hollins has been doing well. He actually had the second best week in wide receiver fantasy land behind Devontae Smith. Also, Isaiah McKenzie splitting the role snaps-wise 50-50 with Jamison Crowder, but obviously the receiver that Josh Allen trusts more, and at the very least as a desperation play, as an injury bye-week emergency play in your PPR leagues, like him. And KJ Osbourne, the Vikings finally threw to him, and he had the game-winning touchdown, had to play to set up the game-winning touchdown, so maybe that will help him as he's still getting on the field about 70% of the time. Going a little bit deeper, Greg Dortch, he's a wide receiver too in PPR leagues. Now that might change when Rondale Moore's back. Will definitely change when DeAndre Hopkins is back, 7, but for now, Dortch can help you out. Josh Reynolds in a role, he's 70% of the snaps, but this team is passing well downfield. Remember, he's played with Jared Goff for a long time, going back to when they were both with the Rams. Robert Woods doing a little bit better now, coming back from his ACL tear. This Titans offense is going to spread the ball around, but Woods is at least some good emergency value. If you're going a little bit deeper, Devontae Parker had actually a breakout game of sorts with the Patriots, but Mac Jones, again, going to be out with that high ankle sprain. And Quez Watkins, in your very deep leagues, just remember this, Quez Watkins is the best deep threat on the Eagles. And if A.J. Brown gets hurt, it's been known to get hurt, if Devontae Smith gets hurt, now you have Quez Watkins with a passer in Jalen Hurts who adds value to the passing game. So you want to stash in a deep league someone that an injury upside play at wide receiver, Quez Watkins could be your guy. At tight end, the merry-go-round keeps going. This time, though, David Njoku clearly leads the way after his big Thursday night. He's been on the field a lot, finally got targeted a lot. And remember, for these Browns players, Deshaun Watson's going to be back in week 13. So end of the season boost there if he got dropped after first 2 weeks from an impatient team, then you can pick him up. Robert Tonyan, his snaps, his targets are going up. He should be involved more in the red zone. You can do worse than starting him. And Tyler Conklin, who's the number 3 tight end in PPR leagues now. Zach Wilson out there probably in week 4. How's that going to change? I don't know. But hey, you could do worse than Tyler Conklin going up against the Steelers this week. You can't do better than being part of Football Guys. Thank you always, folks. Stay classy.